There's a treasure map hidden in the depth of your soul.
If you find that map and you take that path, it will lead you to the golden heart of hearts,
Overflowing
with knowing and bliss.
if you get that far,
just keep going, remembering this. Do what your heart says you should do. It's the most precious part of you. That's where the answers come, when your thoughts are calm and you're searching for the truth. Do what your heart says.
and when the ones you trust to be fair and just turn on you,
Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, St. George, on this beautiful Sunday. My name is Marina, and I am your meditation guide this morning. I invite you to let your body find a comfortable and supported position that you can hold for the next several minutes. Relax into it. Give yourself permission to let go of whatever is happening in you so far, and close your eyes softly. I invite you to take 3 deep breaths with me. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more breath in. And breathe out. Focus on your continued breathing and notice as it finds its own natural rhythm. As you focus on that rhythmic breathing, notice where you feel tension in your body and breathe into those places, one at a time. Feel them begin to release. Feel the support of the chair on which you sit. Now, imagine walking out your door onto a sunny beach. Feel the soft sand beneath your bare feet. Let the beautiful sunshine warm your skin. Walk along the edge of the ocean as the waves kiss the sand. Notice what you hear. Perhaps the gentle splash of waves, gulls chatting on the wind, the whisper of the breeze in your hair. As you move with grace and ease along this beautiful stretch of beach, you notice something up ahead. Curious, you move toward it. The closer you get, the bigger it gets. Wow, it's an amazing spiraled shell, and it's large enough for you to walk through its mouth. Your curiosity draws you in. Inside, the glow of the sun through the porcelain walls lights your way. Notice the temperature of the air around you as you spiral deeper and deeper along its sandy floor. Do you hear anything? Smell anything? Pay attention to the amazing design of the walls. With confidence and ease, you venture further and further into this divine cavern. Surprisingly, it does not get smaller as you continue your walk. At the end of the sandy path, the shell opens up into an expansive, glowing, and comfortable room. As you enter, you find you are not alone. You are beckoned by a gentle companion. You feel safe. You feel at home. You feel loved. As you come close, you feel small and young and curious. You crawl into the ample lap of this friend. When their arms wrap gently around you, tears of joy fill your eyes. This companion is you. Take a few minutes to enjoy this loving embrace and engage in heartfelt conversation. What do you need to know from this, your loving self? What questions do you have about your past? What is true about your todays? And what are the possibilities of the coming tomorrows? Take a long last hug as you climb out of this loving lap onto your feet. If you feel sad, know you can come back at any time for another hug and more connection. This place, this loving being lives inside you all the time. Wave goodbye and take the spiraling path back out to the open sands. With sure steps, walk gently all the way along the wave-kissed beach and back into your room. Feel the chair supporting you again. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice the familiar smells and sounds of the home you love. Join me in 3 more deep breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more breath in. And breathe out. When you are ready, stretch a bit, feel your body, and slowly open your eyes. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. I hold you in my heart in joy and peace and ease. Have a most blessed day. Namaste.
There's a treasure. There's a treasure map hidden in the depth of your soul.
If you find that map and you take that path, it will lead you to the golden heart of hearts,
Overflowing
with knowing and bliss.
if you get that far.
Just keep going, remembering this. Do what your heart says you should do. It's the most precious part of you. That's where.
Good morning. Hello, my friends from Center for Spiritual Living St. George. This is Chris McCardle. I'm a practitioner here. It's my honor, my pleasure to welcome you joining us today. Center for Spiritual Living is an open, loving, inclusive community. We support thinking creatively and living a deeply spiritual life. That is exactly what we do. And today, who we have for you is we have Marina Anderson, who just finished that beautiful meditation. Thank you, Marina. It was lovely. And then we got Alan Stanley on music. And we have our Sacred Covenant will be read by Star Starrett. And Kelly Casper will be doing our invocation. So we have a great show, and Joe Kovach is doing our talk. He's here on our first Mondays. We love his talks, and we look forward to him every month. And we're excited to hear what Joe brings us this morning. So at this point, we'll get us open with music. We've got "Get Ready" by Daniel Nehemiah, great song, and we're going to go ahead and bring Alan in. Hey, Alan.
Hey, Chris. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hello, everybody.
All right, you take it away.
I will. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to this perfect moment, here to this perfect time, here to a new beginning, and I see life clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Now I'd like to invite Kelly Caspar to offer our invocation today.
Good morning, and thank you, Alan. And so I just take the breath in, all the way in to the backs and the bottoms and the sides of my lungs. I take the breath into my hips and my feet, and my shoulders and my hands, and the very top of my head. And I take the breath in, knowing that this is truly life, is love, is God in action. And this breath is the same breath, the very same breath that informs the movement of the trees and the birds taking flight on the air, and the movement of the grass and the snow melting. For all of this is simply that one life interconnected. And we know that it is interconnected through the breath. And so I consciously align myself with and as that one, with and as that power and that presence. Knowing that there are many, many paths and one journey. And all of our journey is about coming home to the truth of who we are. And who we are is life and love and action. And so we breathe into that space. And today, in this time together, we're exploring the idea of a clean slate. And what does a clean slate mean in your life? At this point in our world, individually and collectively, we get to choose our highest and best. We get to choose love. We get to choose the life we're really here to live. And so we simply surrender into that breath, into that knowing, into that life. And with deepest gratitude for all the signs, all the wisdom, all the ways we are guided by life, by love. We just simply are so very grateful. And so I know that anyone who participates in this service in any way, shape, or form is here by divine appointment, is the power and presence of life, of love, of God right here. And for this, I am truly so grateful. And so I let this service unfold in the perfection it already is, with all the words, all the voices, all the connection. Letting love lead the way. And we breathe in, remembering that that breath is connected to every life. And we let this time together unfold in the sacredness, knowing it already is good, and very good. And with the next breath, we just simply say, and so it is.
So it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of love. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul. Hey. Now, Star Starrett is going to read our sacred covenant for us today. Hello, Star.
Hi, thank you for that lovely song. Okay, everyone, we're still looking for a minister, and this is part of the process, and we are sharing it with you now. Our sacred covenant is there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life, I know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which include the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express God, I therefore know that my new minister reveals wholeness. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which we believe, for it is written, "Let us learn to draw the divine substance down into our own lives as freely as it has been given us." Let us give it to others, thus alone shall we be made whole, by Ernest Holmes. And now, as I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as growing the center in joy and prosperity. I now intend to experience with my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing the truth about myself, for as I live the presence and the law of God. I demonstrate wisdom through a mature understanding of the wholeness of life. I'm accountable and willing to take full responsibility for my actions. I participate in and support the nurturance and guidance of the community. I act from wholeness and congruence in thought, word, and action. I actually walk the talk. I embrace, but express your own personal truth here. I now accept the highest expression of my new minister into my life, knowing that they are revealed in a way that expresses God and serves the highest and greatest good for all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful, and so it is. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alan.
Star. Thank you, Star. So we know when we get a new minister, there's going to be some changes. And we're going to embrace it. There's a path that we know many people take, seeking truth and some things unexplained. Setting out on a road that is mostly unknown, sometimes can cause trouble and strain. We set out instead, not knowing what's ahead, and wondering what lies around the bend. In faith we know that wherever we go, we're eternal and this road has no end. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Only one thing remains the same. That's Holy Spirit calling our name. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Now we come together and move along, creating heaven right here at home. We honor the old ways and bless the new. Open our hearts and welcome you. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Only one thing remains the same. That's Holy Spirit calling our name. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Deep inside we all know if we only let go and let God lead, there's nothing to fear. The slower we go, the sooner we'll know, and everything will become clear. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Only one thing remains the same. That's Holy Spirit calling our name. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Only one thing remains the same. That's Holy Spirit calling our name. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Honor the mystery, embrace the change.
Woohoo! Another one I love. That song is so cool. It's just so perky. And for those of you who don't know, Alan actually wrote that song, and he wrote it in like a day, and then came and sang it on Sunday at the center. So I love that song, and it's perfect for our talk this week. Absolutely perfect. Thank you, Alan. All right. So this month, as we enter a new month, it's February, and our theme is One Journey, Many Paths. And today's talk is a clean slate. Looking at this topic, and as someone who occasionally does talks, I'll be real interested to hear what Joe has to say. And this is a little affirmation, I guess, that I'm to read, and it says, "I allow the divine to unfold through me." So that might be Joe's slide, and I may be stepping on his face, but that's okay. He'll understand. So let's welcome Joe. And Joe, come in and do your talk, my friend. I love you, my brother.
Good morning, Chris. Thank you. And that was not my slide, so that was all you. Good job.
Oh, cool. All right.
Oh, good morning, CSL St. George community. Another month has gone by, and man, time is flying. So thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. And that song was amazing. And to find out that you wrote that, 2 thumbs up. I was beeping and bopping with you. So that's why I love this community. And to set the intention for this talk, intention's a powerful thing. So I just intend that by the end of this talk, that there's something within it that grasps you, that leads you to a deeper level of love or knowing yourself and God and spirit, and doing that with ease and grace and joy. Let's have fun doing this. So the topic I was given is a clean slate. And when I do my talks, I could do a little research. So I think I had an idea of a clean slate and what it meant. So as we continue to go here, and I want to see, I can't see if my slide's up there yet. So hopefully we're doing all right there.
Joe, it doesn't show shared on my side.
All right, let me do that again. Let's see. I think because we signed out that one time. There we go. Is that better?
Perfect.
I think I see it now. All right. Thank you. Thanks for your patience. All right. So again, it's a clean slate, and we're going to be making sure that we're paying attention to what that means. So what I found on our lovely internet was a little history of it. And the clean slate was originally a term referred to clearing debts, whether they were social debts, such as poor grades in school, or financial debts at the grocery store. It was like a public ledger and marked with chalk. So a clean slate relationship, therefore, meant past debts were erased and 2 people started on equal footing. So this is kind of the foundation I use. I had an idea, I remember the old school chalkboard, although I don't believe I ever used that. But as a child to play with, we definitely used chalkboards. So I had this idea. And then I wanted to move into right away. I looked up in the Science of Mind. I was curious if Ernest Holmes used this phrase or what he had to say. And he did use the term clean. And I want to use my little pointer here. So this is the word that came up for me. It wasn't clean slate. And he says, this is perfect, the issues of life are from within. If a man is clean in mind, then he is clean indeed. We must keep the mental house free from any thought which contradicts the truth of being. Life is what consciousness makes it. This is a great realization. And so that made me think. So he kind of used this, obviously, this idea of clean, to use clean mind. And, why not consider our mind like a slate? Because we are obviously writing, imprinting on our mind. And of course, what we put in our mind is what we hold in the moment as truth in our lives. So what we think about is literally etched onto our own sacred slate. And what I say is written on my slate. And what you say is written on your slate. And there's a lot of power that goes into that, because the more we say things, the more it is written, the more power we give it, until the point that it manifests in our world. So there's some great power. Now, when I do talk about mind, I want to make sure that we're talking about mind not as the brain, because the brain, as we know, is the tool of the mind. But the mind is basically consciousness. And I want to make sure that we're making that clear. It's consciousness, pure, infinite potentiality, God stuff, right? That's what we're talking about. And so after I read this quote by Holmes, it made me immediately think about my favorite book, which is James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. I strongly suggest you, if you've never read it, please do so. It is because it was written way back in 1903. It is a free download, a PDF. So great read. It's depending on the version you get. Mine is a PDF. It's like 20 pages. And every time I read it, it's a wonderful reminder, perfectly aligned with new thought. So what I grasp out of this is the very beginning. And this is what he says about mind. He says, mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind, and evermore he takes the tool of thought, and shaping what he wills brings forth 1,000 joys, 1,000 ills. And he thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking glass. Let that sit in, and that's just the beginning of this book. So obviously, way back even in 1903, right, what, 118-ish years ago, Allen had already learned the power of the mind and what we put into it. And his book is a short book, specific book on the idea of how we apply our thinking, what we're putting on our slate, and how it affects the mind, or our body, our circumstances, and our health, and so on. So he continues to say this. He's talking about the book here, his book. He says, its object being to stimulate men and women to the discovery and perception of truth that, and in quotes, he says, they themselves are makers of themselves. So by virtue of the thoughts which they choose and encourage, right? Again, we're going back to this idea of what are we and how often are we writing something down on our slate, meaning our thoughts. By virtue of the thoughts which they choose and encourage, that mind is the master weaver both of the inner garment of character and the outer garment of circumstance, and that as they may have hitherto woven in ignorance and pain, they may now weave in enlightenment and happiness. So he understood in that the power of recognizing our thoughts, of knowing the thoughts that we are writing down, being conscious. So then I went back to, again, the web again, and I said, well, all right, I do the basic kind of understanding of what a clean slate meant, and I wondered if there was any other versions. And so continued, I found out that the original phrase was Latin. And I'm going to hopefully not ruin this, but I believe it's tabula rasa, or rasa, which technically translates to an erased slate. Thus, if you go back to the very beginning of the slide, my slate was erased on the second slide. But it's important here, there are two different ideas they share. One is here that the mind in its hypothetical primary blank or empty state before receiving outside impressions. So this gave me a kind of a different perception of maybe what a clean slate is. And then the second part of the definition is something existing in its original pristine state. That got me thinking too. So how do I tap into this? Because obviously this is an important idea, principle, and how can we use that to better our lives like we do in here, and as we follow religious science. When we have, or maybe better said, when we hold a clean slate, we are unbounded by any commitments, circumstances, should-haves, would-haves, could-haves. And even then, if we're back in that pristine state, as it says, that original pristine state, we're even released of any negative resistance, right? Because if we're in this state of joy, right, we recognize in science of mind and spirit that our pristine state is one of godliness, one of just pure unconditional love. And even the love that we think of when I say the word love, it's beyond that. It's beyond our knowing. Going back to even the meditation that we heard before service started, as she said, you're sitting in that lap and you're just feeling embraced, where like nothing negative can touch you. You're just in that pure state of beingness. That's what we're talking about here. So then I'm like, all right, I have this information. How do we put it into practicality? Because religious science is a philosophy. How do we use this in our life? lives, right? So what do we say and how does it show up in our lives? And 2 words, and I'm going to give some credit to my beautiful wife who helped me with this idea, because I shared one word and she shared the other. And the first word that came up for me, and they're similar, but just a little different. The first word I wanted to share is the word present. Now, not present like a gift, but present as in right here, right now, in our present moment. How do we tap into this idea that we have this slate that we're imprinting on and use that to live a life of love that's free and full and expansive and expressive in the way that we want? So, CSL, the main organization, has the vision that create a world that works for everyone. But in order to do that, first, we have to create a world that works for us. Because as we recognize the oneness of all that is, and we know that I am one with all things, yet I'm living this individual life experience. So I can't let this go, haywire. And so I know the better that I live, the better that I can share and be and see, right? Because I can't see what I don't hold in myself. If I want a world of love, I have to be able to hold that within myself. And this goes back to the very thing of what are we putting on our slates? So in order to do this, we must be present, right? What does present mean? Again, it means mindful. It means being aware. It means being awake, living in this now moment. There's a lot of terms we use. But unless we're there, I'm not conscious of what I'm really thinking and putting on my slate. So that goes back, in a sense, again, to bring up James Allen once again. He was talking about this in essence. Are we thinking, are we using the tool of thought by design or by default? And that, like 10 years ago when I heard about this, it was kind of a not as well known, I guess, but now a lot of people hear that. Are we living by design or by default? Are we literally co-creating our lives? Are we aware of often enough, not every second, of course, but are we taking conscious notes of what I'm thinking? And is what I'm thinking healthy and for my best and all's highest good? Is it helping me? Is it hurting me in the sense of causing a lack of flow of spirit within my own spirit? So in order to be one with life's fullness, then we must be present with it, right here, right now. That's why so often as we pray, we call that in, we affirm it. Yes, I am one with spirit, I am one with God, and all that it is right here, right now, because that attaches me to that moment, that power that is in every infinite moment. So are we aware of what we're thinking? And are we aware of it before it manifests? Because that's important. Because if we're not quite aware, then what happens is, and this isn't wrong, we're not beating ourselves up, but often we figure out that, oh, I have some negative thoughts going on because it showed up in my life as a circumstance which I normally consciously would not have called, right? Or all of a sudden we catch ourselves. We're on this default behavior, and all of a sudden we're snapped into this now moment, and we hear, did I just say that? Did I just do that? Am I feeling this like riled up about what? So it's important, again, the first word, present. Are we being present? Now, one of the things that keeps us from living in the present is as we live in the past. What does that mean? Meaning, if we're not aware consciously of what's going on through our minds, right, then often we are we're reliving basically old days and bringing them into our now moment unconsciously. And often, yes, we do that with positive things, right? Because we can tap into the good things that happen and create positive habits. But also, we do this with negative things. I shared with, I facilitate a men's group yesterday, and I was sharing an idea of how sometimes things just go until you catch them. And sometimes they're not good or bad, they're just funny. And one of the things I found out was I moved out from Buffalo, New York, where I was born. I moved out here, and I was out here a couple of years, and I was at a friend's house, and they asked me why. I noticed every time you use our bathroom, you duck. And you're tall, but you're not that tall. You duck. Why do you do that? And so now I'm in the present moment, right? Kind of, that's an awkward question. And yet, obviously, I've done it enough times that they're noticing. So I had to think. And it was right away, it came up to me. The house that I lived in before I moved out was an old farmhouse. And it had low doorways, and particularly the one to the bathroom. So if I went into the bathroom without ducking, I was going to catch a board right about here. And so I created a habit, right? My thought was, I don't want to get hit in the head. I'm going to duck and use the restroom. And yet that thought, that behavior was no longer serving me. And it was in my conscious state, or in my now state, I brought it with me the whole time, years, that I didn't need it, right? And I released it, of course, and I broke that habit. So that's a small one. It's a funny one. But yet that got me thinking about what else have I brought with me that I'm not aware of that's really not serving me. And it wasn't long after that. I would probably say, if I had to estimate, like the next year, that I started like this spiritual journey that I've been on relentlessly now to really uncover. I don't want anything. I want to know everything that I'm writing on my slate. I don't want anything to hold me back. So this idea of living in the past is a big idea. Now, it's not bad. But the power is in this moment now. If I can tap into my mind now and know and purposely, consciously put on there what I say, that's what we do with affirmations and our affirmative prayer. We are consciously, purposely, intentionally writing on our sacred slates the experience in life that we want to have. So, important part. And what does Ernest Holmes have to say about this idea? He says, the past is swallowed up by a perfect present, which is filled with love and protection. So I love that. Short and sweet. He's not like you need psychotherapy per se, and you have to go and rustle all that back stuff up, that past stuff. It may be helpful, but he's just saying, if it's already here and now, deal with it in the here and now. So, I noticed there's a thought that I wrote on my slate that says, I'm not good enough. I don't have to necessarily go back and find where I first started thinking that and bringing all up the negative feelings. I know right here and now that that's not a healthy thought for me, not the one I want to carry around consciously. So we erase it and we write over it. What is it that I want? I love and accept myself the way I am. It's perfect. I'm perfect. Fill it in for yourself. So I think this is important, how Holmes shares that it's simple. Again, one of my models and mantras is simply profound. So keep it simple and may it be profound. And to me, this idea of how to change our life, it's right here, right now. Change it now. So again, a profound statement. So being present is the first important word that I wanted to share. But again, I said there were two. And the second one is the word presence. Okay. So similar, but different. Now, yes, we are being present with our minds, right? We're going to be conscious, our individualized mind. But let us not forget that we believe in one mind, one presence of all, that which is God or life happening. And I am within that. So we're not, and I get caught up too, because I find it easy to be like, this is my life. I have to take accountability. It's my mind and they're my thoughts. And I'm the one that, in a sense, pays the price or gets the reward. It's me. And then what we end up doing is separating ourselves without even knowing it. So bring to mind, as we're in this present moment, the presence that is always right here, right now, who I am, who you are, all things, and not just life as we see it as in sentient life, but everything, because it's a vibration. So let's go back and look now, just that past quote. What if we change one word? What if I change, this is the original quote from Holmes, it says, the past is swallowed up by a perfect present, which is filled with love and protection. But what if we change that to, the past is swallowed up by a perfect presence, which is filled up with love and protection? Kind of deepens that quote, doesn't it? Present and presence. So I can affirm when I'm affirming. But again, as we connect first. That's why we do step one in our prayer treatment. Step one is connect and know that God is all things. So in a sense, we're invoking, we're knowing that presence is here and now. And step two, I am that right here, right now, in this present moment. That's what brings that power in. That's what settles our small individual mind and allows us to connect to the bigger mind. So this is a deeper level of applying this clean slate to our lives. Because sometimes we may get caught up in things that we find are on our slate, and we don't believe we have the power to change it. How am I going to do this? How? Well, we bring in the presence. And this is, this is important to do. One of the things we can ask ourselves is, am I in alignment with this thought, right, in this now moment? And is this thought, if it was written in the mind of God, in the presence of God, does it hold up? Is it like, am I offering my best and highest right here and now? So we kind of weigh it that way as yes. If I catch myself saying I'm not good enough, I should have, would have, could have, is that necessarily a godly thought? Not the highest. We know that. There's a better feeling, better thought that we can have within and hold within ourselves. So practicality, what can we do with all this that I'm talking about? Well, let's take a look. Some things that we can do is simply practice being more mindful. It's amazing to me because when I first began ministerial school, it's going to be roughly 3.5 years right now. Not many people knew the word mindfulness other than those that I was studying with. And for 3.5, 4 years later, it's in businesses, and there's mindfulness coaches for businesses now. What a fantastic world we're living in. So we can practice it now, like it's not a foo-foo thing. People know this at work. Meditation, which is actually, I kind of gave that away. It's one of the ones coming up. Let's go back to one. Practice being mindful. I could be mindful doing the dishes. I could be mindful when I'm vacuuming. I could be mindful when I'm driving. Something for me to center myself into the present. When I'm working at my school and I go from a building to another building, I say a little affirmation and make sure that I'm present as I'm leaving whatever I was doing behind, right? Taking the best and the highest with me into the next part. So simple, and yet it does have profound results. So the second thing is practice the process of surrendering. Now, this is a big one. Because, I can do, obviously, we can do a whole talk and a whole course on surrendering. But in this idea, all we're doing is we're saying, recognizing I'm one with spirit and I'm asking for help. I'm not sure how, I'm not sure I'm feeling confident within myself, not necessarily in a bad way, but I'm not sure how. I need that higher perspective. I surrender this. In other words, allow divine will to happen. Perfect divine timing, divine grace. I'm just trusting. It's a trust, right? It's not surrendering as in I quit, although that's not a horrible thing, because if we're not sure what to do, quit and give it up to God. But in the sense of I'm quitting on myself per se, right? So surrendering, and because why is this important? It brings you back to the present moment, and it brings in the presence. So I had to do that the other day because there's a lot going on in my life and it's very positive, but I keep going back to my slate, and it's not so clean, and I got some junk I need to continue to write over until it's gone. Okay, so sometimes we have to go back over our slate because it reappears because we're creating by default, and it takes a little while to create and etch that new belief system that we want. So the third one, as you know, I kind of gave it away, was practice meditation. So as we practice meditation, it brings us again to a centering, again, beautiful meditation before service today. And you guys, at the very least, can do this every week with service here at CSL St. George. And it brings you back. It brings us back to centering, allows our mind to just be clear. It wipes the slate clean. And, there's another time that we can that we have this opportunity is when we wake up. Each and every morning, there is a time when we awake that we are in that original pristine state, going back to the Latin definition, Latin truth of it, that our mind is sense blank. We're in our full power consciously. We haven't picked up the habits that we had of the life that we are living. So it gives us that moment to, in a sense, at the very least, program the next hour or day. And I've been using this for a good year now. And I wake up, and sometimes I catch my mind wanting to go blah, 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 and look at the phone, and one of the worst things you could do, scientifically proven. So I get up, and I use the restroom, and I come back, and I read the Science of Mind magazine daily for that day. It's like a 3 to 5 minute read. I sit and I read the quotes, I read the article, I read the affirmation, I sit there. This is the day that how I want to start off. Okay, I know my phone's an arm's reach away with a whole lot of commitments and things I've signed up to do and have responsibilities, but I'm starting off this day in the full present and the full presence of that which I call God, knowing that I am that, and I allow it to start flowing through me. If I start feeling heavy, oh, it's going to be a busy day. Go, whoop, erase. What is it that I want to experience? Take a deep breath in, and that's as simple as we can get, my friends. Meditation, it doesn't have to be long. I can just release, and now imprint what I want on my mind. Okay, so going back to even some more fun, one of my mentors, Mary Morrissey, and I hope if you don't know her, get to know her. She's definitely a staple in New Thought. And when I went through a training for her, which I used for my life coaching, I received a coffee mug. And on it, it says, it's a brand new baby day. Right? So, and I can even now change that to, it's a brand new moment. Each moment, if I catch myself consciously, this is not how I don't want this flowing, right? I don't want this to manifest right now. When I catch what I'm writing on my slate, then breathe, take it in, recognize that fullness of God that is here, right now, a clean slate. So thank you. Let us go into prayer. If you would with me, just take a collective community deep breath in, knowing all is well. And release. And join with knowing that there is one life, one presence, one love, one mind that I call God, Spirit. So many names, and yet it doesn't matter because it is so much more than that. And I know it as my very self. I know it is each and everyone hearing my voice, every community member of CSL St. George, all the leadership, all of it is God experiencing itself. How perfect. I know that each of us, each one now has the conscious awareness and courage to know what we are writing on our sacred slate, our minds, that we hold what is for the best and highest good for ourselves and then for our community and the world. For we are knowing that when we are in alignment with the presence of God, then we truly are creating a world that works for everyone. I am open, positively and courageously, to changing thoughts that no longer serve me. I allow these thoughts to come to me, to be made aware with ease and grace. I am always knowing the right, perfect new thought to replace that old thought with, because I am surrounded and protected by a presence that loves me more than I could ever know, because it is me. How good it is to be alive. How good it is to be me, to be you, to have this teaching that Ernest Holmes has brought us, to have our spiritual center of CSL St. George, and to have one another. We affirm this in the highest, and confidently together we say, and so it is. Thank you. Namaste.
Wow, Joe. Man, your talks are just, I mean, I'm like sitting there like, I forgot I was in this service this morning. I had to come run back into the office when you were starting doing prayer. Great talk. The best practices, you know, for people that are new to this teaching, those are, you can use those just as meditation. That is meditation. When you get into that, if you're mindful and you're surrendering, no matter what you're doing, like you said, washing your hands or taking a walk, you know, you can turn that into meditation. Meditation doesn't have to be sitting, you know, oming away or.
I'm all about moving meditations. Definitely. It's sometimes hard for me to sit. We move. Thank you.
Me too. Thanks, Joe. Thanks. Can't wait till next month. Okay. Well, that was pretty cool. I love Joe's talks. I love all of our speakers' talks, man. They're just so inspiring. They get me thinking, deep thinking. You know, we say that in the very beginning, a deeply spiritual life. We don't mean just saying, oh, yay, pray today, it's happy. We get deep, man. We get deep. So we invite you to continue supporting our center. As you know, these services and our center and our everything requires, you know, the giving consciousness. So these are some different ways that you all can give. You can go online to the CSL St. George Breeze thing, or you can do PayPal, or you can even send a check. Our new address is the P.O. Box 3132 in St. George. Do that. Different options. We do invite everyone to continue. Without your continued support, these Sunday services, you know, wouldn't be possible. So thank you for what you do give, and I'm happy to know that you will be giving. So we are still seeking a new minister. If you know anyone, share it on Facebook. Spread the word within our community. I mean, you can see for yourselves how amazing we are as of now. So, you know, go ahead and spread that word. We do have a Zoom meeting. We'll be discussing Joe's talk. If there was anything that was a little deep or, you know, something that you didn't grasp completely, that's what these talks are for. He'll be going over his talk. You can ask questions. It's a great time to feel the community. That's where we actually gather in community now that we're not meeting in the physical form. And we still have our community care circle. If you've got any struggles or family members that are struggling and there's any way that we can assist you, if you're just needing outside help or you just don't know what to do, give us a holler and we will get you in contact with the right people. If you'd like some prayer requests, we do have our 5 practitioners on board all the time. You can just send a request to prayer@cslstgeorge.org or leave a message. And someone will get back with you. You can call those 2 numbers below. You know, prayer works. It's pretty amazing how quickly, when someone is reaching out for prayer, how fast their prayer gets answered. So, as you know, it will be the second Sunday next month, Valentine's Day, the Infinite Invisible with the one and only Reverend Elijah Christopher. For those of you who are on Facebook watching, I also shared a talk he's doing today in another center. I mean, we've got this, we can take advantage of the internet and watch different speakers everywhere, but, you know, of course, join us on Sundays. And then next Sunday, February 21st, One Mind, Infinite Connections will be our regular Eugene Holden, another practitioner, and he writes in the Science of Mind magazine. I'm sure many of you, if you have never seen Science of Mind magazine, grab one and you'll read some amazing things in. So it is time for our closing affirmation. This is where Marina pushes little buttons and everybody's face pops in, and then we read it together. And sometimes we mess it up, but it always ends up just perfect in the end. So I'm going to start by reading the first line, and I invite everyone at home to read it too. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it. I embrace it. and I share it.
Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is becoming.
Thank you.
Life. We did it perfectly. Hey, everybody, we'll see you at the Zoom meeting. Join us. If you can't find it, just put a note in the comment section in YouTube or on Facebook, and we'll be able to get you to the link. So we love you all, and y'all have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.